This is the best of 2023. Top stories from TKOL, Terry Kurtz Online, your High Desert Sports Report, and Victor Valley TV Local Edition newscasts. Video Sports' favorite stories of 2023. The long-awaited Brightline West high-speed train project has received approval of its environmental review and permitting processes. The approval of the environmental review in July focused on the rail line between the rail stations in Hesperia and Rancho Cucamonga. In that review, the Federal Railroad Administration gave the connection a clean bill of health, as the agency found no significant environmental impact for the nearly 50-mile line which connects both cities. The high-speed rail track will run within the right-of-way of Interstate 15 as it departs Rancho Cucamonga, travels north up the Cajon Pass with a stop in Hesperia and Apple Valley before heading to Las Vegas. The Hesperia station will include the system's maintenance facility. In Las Vegas, a Brightline station will welcome passengers at Las Vegas Boulevard and Blue Diamond Road, east of I-15 and south of Harry Reid International Airport. With the environmental approval in place, Brightline officials are eyeing a groundbreaking by the end of 2023. Ribbon cutting and the beginning of operations are projected to take place in the first quarter of 2027. Joseph W. Brady visits with John Ohanian. The topic, the Silverwood Master Plan Community Project.
And one that took well over 40 years to finally get here. So we're here with John Ohanian at DMB Development. John runs this massive project that we're going to go out and take a look. They're grading right now 1,987 lots. They have 9,600 acres, 15,663 dwelling units. So John, welcome.
Well, thanks, Joe, for being out here, and it is exciting to see all the activity that's taking place. We're doing a lot of grading right now. We have made pretty good progress, and as you suggested, this northern end of the project has really started to take shape. I'll take you down and show you where the bridge is going to go that we're just getting ready to build across the wash, and then on out to the area where we're going to be developing the first lots.
We're not going to delve too deeply into cost factors on this report other than to point out that the bridge itself is a $3 million project. And today's current escalation of inflation has a huge impact. There has been a 160% increase in the cost of pipes and fittings, for example. You won't find operators of these earth movers burning any rubber in the parking lot. The cost of each massive tire is $5,000 on these road graders, excavators, bulldozers, scrapers, and loaders.
It's kind of an interesting market we're living in right now as you watch what interest rates are doing and kind of what the economy is doing with inflation and all. We're seeing that builders and investors are a little wary of where the market is and where it's going to go. But we're pretty comfortable with what we're doing. As I mentioned to you before, we don't use debt when we build our projects. So we're not hampered by that, and we're not governed by what interest rates do. We still plan on delivering lots to builders the second quarter of 2023, and we still plan on opening the community the first quarter of 2024. And we believe firmly that rates will stabilize and that the market will get back to a normal. And actually, we've been looking at this thinking that this is a needed correction that the market really needed. The inflationary rates and then the price point escalation had just gotten untenable. And it got to the point where housing was not going to be affordable if you just kept seeing these price points every single week going up. In our view, that was unsustainable. And so we're kind of, for us, it's a reset. It kind of gets the market stable. If mortgage rates stay below 5% in the long run, we feel real good about where the economy is going and what this project can bring. Something that we're doing here that's really unique is that we are dual plumbing every house. So every house will use non-potable water for all outside uses. And that cuts your water usage down to by a factor of almost 6. I mean, it's an incredible reduction in the amount of water that you use. Couple that with the fact that modern houses are so much more efficient than even what was built 5 years ago. The homes we build today with low flow facilities with throughout the house use substantially less water. Just a regular house built a house here versus a house built 20 years ago. A house today will use about 1/3 the water that a house would have built 20 years ago. And our project, because of the dual plumbing and the non-potable use for all outdoor irrigation purposes, outside uses, will be significantly less beyond that. Today, the level of sophistication in water treatment and water management is just amazing. And I think that if people will take the time to come to understand the project better and not just viscerally react, they'll see that it's an important milestone in how water is going to be managed in the state of California going forward. We will be the first fully dual plumbed, fully required solar project in the state. It'll be the first time that that's been done.
It is downright fascinating seeing the rapid excavation and dirt-moving progress underway at Silverwood. The Victorville Wellness Center will admit its first individuals and families in time for the holidays. The first of its kind innovative center incorporates on-site medical and recuperative care for the unhoused. The facility is the state's first low-barrier, non-congregate emergency shelter to offer interim housing and wraparound support services with a medical and recuperative care clinic on site. One of the center's most unique features is the inclusion of medical services and recuperative care. Local hospitals will be able to discharge Victorville's unhoused directly to the Wellness Center Medical Clinic to receive the recuperative care they need to recover. With expenses reimbursed through Medi-Cal, the medical clinic and recuperative care will be self-sustaining services. The design of the modular housing units provides 110 separate units with a minimum capacity of 170 beds. Units vary in size, including single, double, and family units. The center includes community spaces, a dog kennel, community garden, industrial kitchen, and recreational sports courts. The Victorville Wellness Center housing units and support service buildings are located on 4.5 acres of city-owned land located on the 16,000 block of First Street. The Wellness Center was constructed primarily through a $28 million Home Key grant from the California Department of Housing and Community Development. This update on Operation Consequences, San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon Dykes recently reported, since the launch of Operation Consequences, his department has made 791 felony arrests, seized over 2,000 pounds of narcotics, 200 pounds of that was fentanyl, about 700 pounds of suspected cocaine, worth about $4 million, was prevented from reaching the streets of our county. Authorities have confiscated over 600 firearms, 210 of them ghost guns. Victorville ranks 5th in the state in the number of ghost guns. In addition to the illegal drugs and firearms seizures, 28 human trafficking victims have been rescued and 32 human trafficking arrests have been made. Operation Consequences conducts crime suppression operations throughout the high desert and in the sheriff's jurisdiction surrounding the city of San Bernardino. Operations include parole and probation checks. There are currently 6,568 parolees at large in California. 534 of those parolees are at large in San Bernardino County. The San Bernardino County Department of Behavioral Health has launched a county-wide campaign to raise awareness about the unprecedented rise in overdoses and poisonings caused by fentanyl. Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid that is up to 50 times stronger than heroin and 100 times stronger than morphine. It is tasteless, odorless, and too small to see. An amount about the size of 2 grains of sand can cause an overdose. Brightly colored fentanyl, referred to as rainbow fentanyl, can be found in many forms, including pills, powder, and blocks that can resemble sidewalk chalk or candy. Of great concern is how fentanyl is being marketed to appeal to unsuspecting children. In the past 2 years, there have been over 450 fentanyl overdose deaths in San Bernardino County. Recognizing the signs of opioid overdose can save a life. If you suspect a family member or friend might have a problem with substance use, speak to them about getting help. You or your family member or friend can call 800-968-2636 to reach the county's Substance Use Disorder Helpline 24 hours a day for a free and confidential screening.
Where were you when the world stopped turning that September day? Were you out in the yard with your wife and children, or working on some stage in LA? Did you stand there in shock at the sight of that black smoke rising against that blue sky? Did you shout out in anger and fear for your neighbor?
With that kind of spirit, the American spirit, that spirit that says, I will never give up. Someone who never gives up can never be defeated.
But I know Jesus and I talk to God, and I remember this from when I was young. Faith, hope, and love are some good things He gave us, but the greatest is love.
I know when I say that to people, some people say this is not a day of celebration. Yes, it is. America goes on, and America is stronger. And that is because of the American spirit.
Did you open your eyes, hope it never happened?
That none of us be found wanting on that day when we come to answer for what we did in response to those 2 words. So I say them here again. Let's roll.
Faith, hope, and love are some good things He gave us.
So remember that as we teach our next generation. 9/11 was when the enemy took that shot at us. We looked them in the eye and we said, guess what, America's still here and we're coming after you. So remember that when you tell the people who are in charge. Never forget that we're coming after the enemy.
Did you stand there in shock at the sight of that black smoke rising against that blue sky? Did you shout out in anger and fear for your neighbor, or did you sit down and cry? Where were you when the world stopped turning that September day?
This special edition of TKOL, the best of 2023, is brought to you by Down Home Grill, serving nutritious and delicious budget-saving weekly specials. Call 760-241-4663 for delivery, drive-through, or dine-in at 12120 Ridgecrest Road in Victorville.
So.
Bid fast and last, world-class auctioneers. Volvo quality truck body. Family owned and operated since 1954. The Bradco Companies, our area's longest standing full-service commercial brokerage firm. Zach Law Firm. Trial lawyers for serious problems. We Got 'em Tees. Your headquarters for custom screen printing and mastercraft embroidery design. Silverwood. The developers of the Silverwood Master Planned Community support the events, youth activities, and programs of our high desert Mojave River Valley communities. And by the Holiday Inn in Victorville. The Holiday Inn, conference and convention center for the high desert and destination of choice of visitors and travelers to the Victor Valley. On this Memorial Day weekend edition of TKOL, we recall the 2017 tribute to Adrian Bender. Adrian Bender was honored posthumously on Veterans Day 2017, the tribute recognizing Adrian Bender's distinguished and decorated service in the United States Army. His brother, Dennis, receiving the award presented by the First Family Church, their 5th annual ceremony recognizing a local veteran.
This year we picked a very special veteran. His name is Adrian D. Bender, and his family is here today, and so we want to honor them today by honoring their brother.
And today we are extremely honored to present this award to Mr. Dennis Bender, the brother of Army Specialist 5, Adrian D. Bender, who died of cancer caused by the effects of being exposed to the chemicals in Agent Orange while fighting in Vietnam. Adrian was born in Needles, California on February the 4th, 1944. And in his youth, he was a typical happy all-American boy who enjoyed playing outdoors. He loved playing baseball, but he especially loved spending time with his older brother Dennis, hunting ducks and or geese together. And although their parents would let them play outdoors as much as they wanted, still there was 2 things they demanded of them as they grew. The parents insisted that they both get a good secular education and that they also receive good religious training. And according to what Dennis told me, it was impossible to escape either one, because if they walked out the front door of their house, the high school was right there across the street. And if they walked out the side door of their house, there stood the church that they attended. Adrian was an excellent musician also. His main instrument of choice was the saxophone. He played both the alto and the tenor sax. Adrian worked on the railroad while putting himself through college. Soon after graduating, he became the band instructor at Apple Valley High School. And according to his brother, Adrian taught for only a few months before joining the United States Army. He was inducted on 17 September 1968. He spent basic training at Fort Ord and then was sent to Vietnam. While there, Adrian was part of a group that went to Cambodia during the months of May and June of 1970. This group encountered the enemy and captured tons of weapons, military vehicles, ammunition, medical supplies, and even took control of a Mercedes-Benz and a Porsche. During this invasion, complete hospitals, mess halls, and bunker complexes were destroyed, setting the enemy back and giving the United States Army time to withdraw so that the Army of South Vietnam could take over the mission. But unfortunately, like in so many other instances, the Army of South Vietnam was unable to stand against the enemy, and they failed in their part of the mission. It was during this time in Cambodia that Adrian and his fellow soldiers had to walk through dead and dying shrubbery that had been sprayed with Agent Orange. Within a year or so of his contact with this chemical, Adrian began to have growths and sores appear in his body. But at first he did not associate the sores with the fact that he had been exposed to this deadly chemical. Within 2 years of getting out of the service, his brother would have to take him to the hospital to be treated for these sores. The doctors told Adrian that as long as the growths and the sores remained outside the body, he would be okay. But if they ever began to grow inside the body, they would become deadly. Specialist 5 Adrian D. Bender passed away from cancer due to the effects of Agent Orange on February the 9th, 2003. Specialist 5 Bender was awarded the following medals for his service: the National Defense Service Medal, the Vietnam Service Medal, Vietnam Campaign Medal, the Army Commendation Medal, the Air Medal, and the Bronze Star Medal. I'd like to read what was written on that citation when he received the Bronze Star Medal. And I quote, "The President of the United States of America, authorized by executive order on 24 August 1962, has awarded the Bronze Star Medal to Specialist 5 Adrian D. Bender, United States Army, for meritorious achievement in ground operations against hostile forces during the period of 1 March 1970 to 30 June 1970 in the Republic of Vietnam. Given under my hand in the city of Washington this 14th day of July 1970, and it was signed by Jonathan R. Burton, Brigadier General, United States Army." And as I said earlier, Adrian Bender suffered much because of his willingness to serve his country. He suffered physical, emotional, and spiritual pain because of what he was called to do while in the military. But you know, if he was here today, we'll present Adrian will tell us to Mr. Bender. Don't make such a big deal out of it. I was just doing my duty. And like so many of you that are sitting here today, he would tell us, don't make me out to be a hero. Don't put me on a pedestal. But please, just try to understand
The third
that
baseman's
what I
head
went through
scores Logan Day, then Aiden Ortega.
the sights and sounds of watching my fellow soldiers fight and even die has left an everlasting impact on my soul. And please try to understand what is going through the heart and the mind of an old veteran as he salutes Old Glory, as the bugler plays taps, or as he listens to the Star-Spangled Banner. Greater love has no one than this, that someone laid down his life for his friend. Specialist 5 Adrian D. Bender served his country with honor and distinction. And although his life here on this earth was short, still he left a lasting impression on all who knew him. With that, I'm going to call Mike Gallucci, and as we present this award to Adrian's brother, Dennis Bender, I would like to say that Mr. Dennis Bender has been one of the most loved and well-respected teachers to ever come out of Apple High.
Driving in winter storm conditions was among the PowerPoint topics at Wrightwood's annual Winter Traffic Meeting. San Bernardino County Fire, CHP, Angeles National Forest, Public Works, and Caltrans officials met to prepare for the influx of winter visitors who come to the mountain village. Wrightwood sits in portions of Los Angeles County, San Bernardino County, and the Angeles National Forest, so all three regions assist with winter planning. San Bernardino County Fire hopes to have an additional ambulance stationed in Wrightwood this winter and is considering the purchase of additional snow vehicles that will be kept at Wrightwood Station 14. The captain of Victor Valley Sheriff's Station emphasized the importance of having the CHP on speed dial and the departments working together. At the same time, the importance of residents to prepare themselves to survive until help can reach them was pointed out. Listen to that 7-day forecast. Shop ahead of time. Buy canned goods and bottled water. Make sure you have plenty of medication. All advised. Drivers coming up to see the snow should also bring adequate winter clothing, snow boots, an emergency kit, blankets, and extra water and food. Members of CHP, Caltrans, and San Bernardino County Public Works urge visitors not to block the roadways, to put on chains, or play in the snow. They also emphasize the importance of residents parking in their driveways and not on the street so the snowplows can clear the roads. Weather advisory experts foresee a very high El Niño winds season ahead. That's typically a warmer phase, but they cannot predict how it will impact snowfall. A Mountain High Resorts spokesperson stated they are looking forward to another great ski season, a big winter, a super El Niño. This special edition of TKOL, the best of 2023, is brought to you by Down Home Grill, serving nutritious and delicious budget-saving weekly specials. Call 760-241-4663 for delivery, drive-thru, or dine-in at 12120 Ridgecrest Road in Victorville. Bid fast and last, world-class auctioneers. Volume Quality Truck Body, family owned and operated since 1954. The Bradco Companies, our area's longest-standing full-service commercial brokerage firm. Iwanzak Law Firm, trial lawyers for serious problems. We Got 'em Tees, your headquarters for custom screen printing and mastercraft embroidery design. Silverwood, the developers of the Silverwood Master Planned Community, support the events, youth activities, and programs of our High Desert, Mojave River Valley communities. And by the Holiday Inn in Victorville, the Holiday Inn, conference and convention center for the High Desert, and destination of choice of visitors and travelers to the Victor Valley. Thank you for being with us on this special edition of the Best of 2023. Top stories from TKOL, Terry Kurtz Online, your High Desert Sports Report, and Victor Valley TV Local Edition newscast. We wish you all the best in 2024.